everyone, I'm Hazelin Valdez, CRT Cabanatuan BTB2, and here's my report about in Hong Kong and Macau 1888. Rizal at 27. Haunted by a powerful enemies, Rizal was forced to leave his country for the second time. He was then a full-grown man of 27 years of age, a practicing physician and recognized man of letters. The first time he went abroad in June 1882, he was mere lad of 21, a youthful student in search of wisdom on the old world, romantic idealist with beautiful dreams of anticipating his free fall from bondage by magic power of his friend. Time has changed. Rizal at 27 was an inveter, victim of human iniquities, a disillusioned dreamer, a frustrated reformer. Trip to Hong Kong. On February 3, 1888, after a 6 months of stay in Calamba, Rizal left Manila for Hong Kong on board the Zafiro. He was sick and sad during the crossing of the China Sea. So, on February 7, 1888, when Zafiro made a brief stop over at Amoy, Rizal did not off his ship at Amoy for three reasons. First, he was not feeling well. Second, it was raining hard. And third, he heard that the city was dirty. The next thing is he arrived in Hong Kong on February 8 during his stay in Hong Kong. Rizal wrote a letter to Blumentritt dated February 16, 1888, expressing his bitterness and sadness toward his enemy who accused him holding secret meeting for the purpose of overthrowing the Spanish government, which was
Hello, my name is Erica Joy J. Inigo, a second-year student taking a Bachelor of Technical Vocational Teacher Education from College for Research and Technology, Cabanatuan Branch. February 18, 1888, Rizal, accompanied by the Basa, visited Macau. They boarded the ferry steamer Kukuang, as he described a wild boat, beautiful and clean for river navigation. According to Rizal, the city of Macau is small, low, and gloomy. There are many junks, sampans, but few steamers. It looks sad and it almost died. Rizal and Basa stayed at the home of Don Juan Francisco Licaros. He was rich and spent his day cultivating the plants and flowers, many of which came from the Philippines. During his second day stay in Macau, he visited the cathedrals, the famous grotto of Consumos Portugal's national poet, casino and theaters. On his second day in Macau, the night of February 19, he witnessed a Catholic procession in which the devotees were dressed in blue and purple dress and were carrying unlighted candles. On the 20th of February, Rizal and Basa returned to Hong Kong. When Rizal returned to Hong Kong, he was able to experience the Chinese New Year, Boitros, Chinese Theater, Marathon, Laurent Party, Dominican Order, and he went to Hong Kong cemeteries, noisy celebration of the Chinese New Year which lasted from the February 11 to 13. Continuous explosion of firecrackers, the richer the Chinese, the more firecrackers exploded. Rizal himself fired many firecrackers at his hotels.
It has $1 million deposit in the banks which earn fabulous interest. It's owned more than 700 houses for rent and many share in foreign banks. Hong Kong cemeteries are separated based on religion. So we have Protestant, Catholic, Muslim according to Rizal Protestant cemeteries. Verdant was beautiful because it was have groomed plants and clean paths. Catholic cemetery was the most pamplemousse with its February 22, 1888. Rizal left Hong Kong on board the Oceanic, an American steamer. His destination was Japan. He did not like the meals on the board, but he liked the ship because it was clean and efficiently managed. His cabin mate was British, Protestant missionary who had lived in China for 27 years. Rizal called him a good woman.
Hello, my name is Erica Joy J. Inigo, a second-year student taking a Bachelor of Technical Vocational Teacher Education from College for Research in Technology, Cabanatuan Branch. And today, I will be discussing the romantic interlude of Jose Rizal in Japan. Romantic Interlude in Japan, 1888. One of the happiest interludes in the life of Jose Rizal was in sojourn in the land of the cherry blossom for a month and a half of February 28, April 13 in 1888. He was enchanted by the nature of beauty of Japan, the charming manners of the Japanese people, and the picturesque shrine. Moreover, he fell in love with a Japanese girl whose loveliness infused joy and romance in his sorrowing heart. Her real name was Seiko Yushi. Rizal affectionately called her Osai-san, Fate. However, cut short his happy days in Japan. He had to sacrifice his own happiness to carry on his work for the adaptation of his oppressed people. Rizal arrives in Yokohama. February 28, 1880, Tuesday morning, Rizal arrived in Yokohama. He registered at the Grand Hotel. March 2 to 7, Rizal proceeded to the Tokyo and took a room at the Tokyo Hotel. Rizal in Tokyo. Rizal was visited at his hotel by Juan Perez Caballero, Secretary of the Japanese Legation. The letter invited him to live at the Spanish Legation. Macau is a Portuguese colony near at Hong Kong. Spanish diplomatic authorities were entrusted from Manila to monitor his movement in Japan. He accepted the invitation for two reasons. Number one, he could economize his living expenses by staying at the legation. And number two, he had nothing to hide from the prying eye of the Spanish authorities. March 7, Rizal checked out at the hotel and lived at the Spanish legation. He and Perez Caballero became a good friend during his first day in Tokyo. Rizal was embarrassed because he did not know the Japanese language. He looked like Japanese, but he could not talk Japanese. Rizal studied Japanese language and he was able to speak it within a few days. He also studied the Japanese drama, kabuki, arts, music, and judo, Japanese art of self-defense. He visited Meguro, Nikko, Okone, Minishita, and charming village of Japan. Rizal and the Tokyo musician. March 1888. It was a beautiful spring afternoon. Rizal was promenading in a street of Tokyo near at a park. As they approached the park, Rizal heard the Tokyo band playing a classical work of Strauss. He was impressed by the superb performance of the Western music. Rizal admired and wondered how Japanese people have assimilated the modern European music to the extent of playing the beautiful musical masterpieces of the great European composers.
Good day, I am Angela Marie D. Garcia from Bachelor and Technical Vocational Teacher Education from CRT Cabanatuan Branch. Rizal, Impression of Japan. Rizal was favorably impressed by Japan. He was a keen observer taking copious notes on the life, customs, and culture of the people. He was no silly, light-headed tourist who merely enjoys attractive sights that appealed only to the senses. Things which favorable impress Rizal in Japan were: number one, the beauty of the country, its flowers, mountains, streams, and scenic panoramas. Number two, the cleanliness, politeness, and industry of the Japanese people. Number three, the picturesque dress and simple charm of the Japanese woman. Number four, there were very few thieves in Japan, so that the houses remained open day and night, and in the hotel room, one could safely leave money on the table. Number five, burgers were rarely seen in the city. Streets, unlike in Manila and other cities. April 13, 1888. Rizal bordered in Belgium, an English streamer, and Yokohama bound for the United States. He left Japan with a heavy heart, for the knew that he would never again see this beautiful land of the cherry blossom. And beloved Osei-san, truly his sojourn in Japan for 45 days was one of his happiest interludes in his life.
It's my life. Lazy.
As everything on earth has to end, the beautiful romance between Rizal and Osei-san inevitably came to a dolorous ending. Sacrificing his personal happiness, Rizal had to carry on his libertarian mission in Europe. Accordingly, he resumed his voyage, leaving behind the lovely Osei-san who passionately loved. Osei-san was broken-hearted by the departure of Rizal, the first man, the capture of her heart. About 1897, a year after Rizal's execution, she married off chemistry of First School in Tokyo and died on November 2, 1915, survived by Osei-san whose real name was Seiko Uzui and their daughter, Yuriko. Ang pag-iibigan ni Rizal at Osei-san ay dumating sa napakalungkot na wakas. Isinekrepisyo ni Rizal ang kanyang personal na kaligayahan para ipagpatuloy niya ang kanyang misyon sa Europa. Nung nagpatuloy si Rizal sa paglalakbay ay iniwan niya ang kanyang kasintahan na si Osei-san na nalabis na saktan. Noong 1897, isang taon, na pagkatapos ng pagkabitay kay Rizal, nagpakasal siya sa chemistry ng First School sa Tokyo at namatay noong November 2, 1915 na naiwan si Osei-san sa tunay na pangalan na Seiko Uzui at ang kanilang anak na babae na si Yuriko.